Good morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to look at the way your math test is going to be set up on Edulastic. So let's work a few problems together so you will be prepared for your test. Your first question says, what number is shown on the place value chart? All right, let's count our hundreds, our tens, and our ones. Count with me. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 510, 520, 530, 531, 532, 533, 534, 535. So in the box, we're going to type in 535. And then we can click this gray arrow to take us to our next question. Our next question says, write 535 in expanded form. Remember, expanded form is when we take our number and we add our hundreds, our tens, and our ones. So 535 in expanded form is 500 plus 30 plus 5 equals 535. We're just going to type that into the box. Question 3 says write 535 in word form. Remember, word form is our number written in words. Okay, so if you get to this problem on your test and you're not sure how to spell your words, I can promise you your teacher's not going to count off. Just spell the best that you can. So this number is 535. So we're going to write it out in words. 535. All right. Question number 4. Write the number in standard form. Standard form is just the regular way we write a number. So let's look. 500, 7 tens, and 4 ones. 500, 7 tens, and 4 ones is the same as 574. So in our box, we're going to type in our number in standard form, 574. We're going to click our arrow. Number 5, write the number in standard form. 800 plus 8 plus 90. Number 5, write the number in standard form. We see 800 plus 8 plus 90. Now, here we have our number in expanded form. We have our hundreds, then our ones, then our tens. But remember, when we're writing a number, we have our hundreds, our tens, and then our ones. So to write this number in standard form, we would say 898 because we have 8 hundreds, 9 tens, and 8 ones. Number 6, write this number in standard form. We see a number here in word form, so we want to write it the way that we would regularly write this number. We see the number 413. For 413, we have 4, a 1, and a 3 to show 413. All right, number 7 says match each type of number form to its example. So here you see expanded form, standard form, word form, and unit form. You're going to have a question that looks just like this one on your test. So what you will need to do is first you're going to start with expanded form. You're going to click this green arrow and it's going to give you 4 answer choices. You're going to choose which one is expanded form. And remember, expanded form is when we make an addition sentence. So here we see 718. We see 718 written in 4 different ways. But here is our addition sentence. 700 plus 10 plus 8. Next, it says standard form. Just like we did on the first one, we're going to click the green arrow to bring our answer choices down. And standard form is the number written just like we would normally write it. And we see that is our first answer choice, 718. In word form, our number is written using all words. We see one option that uses words, 718. And lastly, we have unit form. So we're going to click our green arrow to show our answer choices. For unit form, we have our hundreds, our tens, and our ones. So we see 7 hundreds, 1 10, 8 ones. And every time we click the green arrow down, we want to make sure that we select our answer choice. Let's make sure we have all 4 parts answered before we click our next arrow. We have expanded form, standard form, word form, and unit form. Fill in the blank. 1 more than 608 is, all right, we have 1 more, so that means we're adding, because more means to add, we're adding to our ones place because it says 1 more. So when we add 1 to our ones place of 608, it becomes 609. 10 more than 325 is blank. We see 10 more. We know that more means to add, and because we see 10, that means our tens place is what we're adding to. So when we add to our tens place, 325 becomes 335. 100 less than 654 is blank. All right, this time we see the word less. So less means we're going to subtract or we're going to take away. And we see 100, so that means we're taking away from our hundreds place. So when we take away from our hundreds place, 654 becomes 554. 1 less than 560 is blank. All right, so we see 1 less. So less means we are taking away from our ones place because we see a 1. Now we don't have any ones in our number 560. So what we would need to do is we would borrow a 10 from our tens place and break it into 10 ones, which now leaves me with 5 hundreds, 5 tens, and 10 ones. When we take 1 away from the ones place, we now have 9 ones, leaving me with 5 hundreds, 5 tens, and 9 ones. So 1 less than 560 is 559. Fill in the blanks. 872 equals blank hundreds, blank tens, blank ones. Okay. We're writing this number in unit form. So we have 8 hundreds, 7 tens, and 2 ones. Now we want to write this number using just hundreds and ones. So we see an 8 in our hundreds place, and we could say that we have 72 ones. 872 ones. Let's do the same thing for 442. We have 4 hundreds, 4 tens, and 2 ones. Now we want to write 442 using just hundreds and ones. So we see 4 hundreds and 42 ones. Write the total amount of money shown in the group below. So we see hundreds, tens, and ones. I want you to skip count with me to find our total amount of money. Let's start with our hundreds. 100, 200, 300, 310, 320, 321, 322, 323, 324, 325. So in this group, we see $325. We're just going to type that into the box. Let's count the total amount of money in this group. We see hundreds, tens, and ones, but we see our $1 bills first, and then our tens, then our hundreds. Just because we see them in a different order, that doesn't mean we have to count them in a different order. Let's still start with our hundreds and work our way to our 1. So count with me. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 510, 511, 512, 513, 514. So in this group of money, we see $514. Let's look at this last group of money. We see tens and we see ones, but we don't see any hundreds. So let's start by counting our tens. Count with me. 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. In this group, we see $37. Our next set of problems is going to ask us to compare two numbers using greater than, less than, or equal to. So we see two numbers on our screen. We see 978 and 987. So when we compare, we always start with our biggest unit. In this case, both numbers have a hundreds place. That's their biggest unit. In both numbers, we see a 9 in our hundreds place. Because both numbers have a 9 in our hundreds place, we need to look at our tens place. In 978, we see a 7 in the tens place. And in 987, we see an 8 in the tens place. These two numbers are different, so we can compare. We know that 7 is less than 8, so that makes 978 less than 987. So we're going to click this green arrow to drop down our answer choices. We want the mouth of our symbol to be open to the bigger number. So 978 is less than 987. Let's compare these two numbers. We see 10 hundreds and 999. Well, first we need to decide what number is the same as 10 hundreds. We know that 10 hundreds equals 1,000. And that's the biggest unit that we've talked about so far. So let's compare 1,000 to 999. 1,000 is greater than 999. So when you click the arrow, you're going to choose the symbol that opens to the bigger number. 10 hundreds, or 1,000, is greater than 999. Okay, now we see two numbers. Neither of them are in standard form. We see one number in expanded form and one number in word form. First, let's decide what these two numbers are in standard form. 40 plus 800 is the same as 840. Well, we have 814 in word form. So 840 and 814. Both numbers have an 8 in the hundreds place. So we would need to look at our tens place. In 840, we have a 4 in our tens place, while in 814, we have a 1 in our tens place. We know that 4 is greater than 1, so 840 must be greater than 814. So we're going to click our green arrow, and we're going to choose the symbol that is open to the bigger number. 4 tens and 3 ones is greater than, less than, or equal to 34. First, let's decide what number is 4 tens and 3 ones. We know that 4 tens and 3 ones is the same as 43. So we're comparing 43 to 34. Neither of our numbers have a hundreds place, so we're going to start by looking in our biggest place, which is going to be our tens. In 43, we have 4 tens, while in 34, we have 3 tens. We know that 4 is greater than 3, so 4 tens and 3 ones, or 43, is greater than 34. We're going to click the green arrow and select our answer choice. 4 tens and 3 ones is greater than 34. Now let's compare using less than or greater than. 76 tens and 5 ones is less than or greater than 756. So first, let's talk about what number is the same as 76 tens and 5 ones. 76 tens and 5 ones is 765. 765 and 756. Let's compare those two numbers. Both numbers have a 7 in the hundreds place, so let's move to our tens place. In 765, we have a 6 in our tens place, while in 756, we have a 5 in our tens place. We know that 6 is greater than 5, so 765, or 76 tens and 5 ones, is greater than 756. So we're going to choose the answer choice that says greater than. 60 plus 4 plus 200 is less than or greater than 2 ones and 46 tens. So let's decide what numbers these are in standard form. 60 plus 4 plus 200, we know is the same as 264. So on the left side, we have 264, and on the right side, we see 2 ones and 46 tens. So we see 462. 46 tens and 2 ones is the same as 462. So we're comparing 264 to 462. In our hundreds place, we see a 2. In 462 in our hundreds place, we have a 4. We know that 2 is less than 4, so 264 has to be less than 462. Next, let's look at this multiple choice question. We see 10 tens equals blank. Does 10 tens equal 1, equal 10, equal 100, or equal 1,000? We know if we bundle 10 tens, or if we count by tens 10 times, we make 100. So our answer choice is going to be 100. And let's look at our very last question. It says Michael is buying a new bike. Michael is deciding between bike 1 and bike 2. Bike 1 costs $295, while bike 2 costs $263. Which bike is more expensive and why? So first, before we even look at our answer choices, let's compare our two numbers. When we're comparing numbers, we always start in our biggest place. Both numbers have 100. So let's start in our hundreds place. In 295, we see 200s, and in 263, we see 200s. Because these numbers are the same, we cannot compare based just on our hundreds. So let's move to our tens place. In 295, we see 9 tens, and in 263, we see 6 tens. So we know that the 9 in 295 is greater than the 6 in 263. So let's see if we can find an answer choice that matches what we just said. Bike 1 is more expensive because the 9 in the tens place is greater than the 3 in the ones place of bike 2. Well, we didn't compare the 9 in the tens place to the 3 in the ones place, so that can't be our answer. B, bike 1 is more expensive because the 9 in the tens place is greater than the 6 in the tens place of bike 2. Now, those are the two numbers that we compared. We started with our hundreds, and our hundreds were the same, so we moved to our tens place. Our 9 was greater than our 6. So let's keep answer choice B in mind while we read the rest of our answer choices. C says bike 2 is more expensive because the 3 in the ones place is greater than the 2 in the hundreds place of bike 1. Well, we didn't say bike 2 was more expensive, so that can't be our answer. And we also didn't compare the 3 from our ones place to the 2 in our hundreds place, so that's not a good answer choice. And D says bike 1 and bike 2 are equal in price because they both have a 2 in the hundreds place. While they both have a 2 in the hundreds place, both bikes are not the same price. The whole number is not the same. So our best answer choice is going to be B. Bike 1 is more expensive because the 9 in our tens place is greater than the 6 in our tens place of bike 2. When we've answered all of the questions, we will see a screen that looks just like this. It's going to let you know if you skipped any questions on your test. If all of your questions are in blue, that means you've answered all of them. If you have any questions in gray, that means you need to click on that question. It'll take you back to the question that you missed or that you skipped. Okay? So be sure that before you submit your test, all of your questions are blue. That will help you know that you didn't skip any questions. Take your time, do your best. You will all do super, super awesome on your test. Good luck!